Hello,
What's up, everyone?
hello. Happy Friday.
What's up?
Welcome for oh, let me get some music on so we don't sound like dead air. But yeah, so welcome to another Friday stream. So this week we're doing something a little bit different where we're usually playing games and doing drawing contests. We're going to do a little tutorial. So I really hope you guys got a pencil and paper in front of you because our wonderful lowbrow artists, Travis, Amanda, and Sarah, we're going to draw some Pokemon, and they're going to do a little step-by-step so you guys can follow along. Doesn't that sound like a hoot?
That's right.
Thanks, Travis. So Travis is going to kick us off, so we're going to give you guys just a second so you can grab yourself a pencil and paper, and Travis is going to guide us through drawing which Pokemon?
Emolga.
Emolga. I don't even know who that is. So,
Real.
So, yeah, however you want to begin, Travis, you can kick us off.
Alrighty, so start off with the head.
I'm going to mute you, Amanda.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
There we go. All right, Travis, you have the floor.
Alright, everybody, so get out your trusty utensils and draw a head. Okay, that's a circle. And the body is like a round triangle kind of deal. So it's like this kind of deal. And like erase and stuff. And it's got cute little arms. And they're like wider at the top than they're on the bottom. 3 little fingers. Little baby fingers. And then he's got that his wings, which are like they're connected to his arms. And his arm is like underneath the wing, so I just like erased this part. Fun, everybody, right?
You got like a Bob Ross thing going on, Travis. It's soothing.
How my voice changed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so then we
You don't sound as angry as normal.
Oh. Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Sorry.
But yeah, is this usually how you start your processes, Travis? Or do you...
Nah. I'm kind of just like looking at the Emolga model sheet, and it has, he's all at different angles and stuff, which gives you like a good idea of, you know, the size of everything and like where things should go. He's got this crazy like W on his head, and that just like goes off to the side. It's like a mask, like a little I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
thinking like a wetsuit for some reason.
Or like a little hoodie.
Yeah, and then it's got these little eyeballs. They're like tall ovals. Is everybody drawing along?
I hope so. This is some...
I am too.
I could hear Amanda's pen going against this antique. She's gonna open her window and it's gonna be like a fully rendered like oil painting.
Yeah.
He's got a little dot for the nose and cute little smile.
It is a really cute design.
It is a super cute design. He's got little cheeks.
Of course, as every Pikachu clone must have.
Yeah.
Is that what he is?
Yeah, he's one of the many Pikachu like knockoffs.
I'm gonna fix my this doesn't come out as much.
Okay, I'm looking at him now. He's got like a
Okay.
flying squirrel thing, huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
don't be afraid to erase
He's
everybody.
an electric flying squirrel.
But yeah, that's a good straight tip, which sounds crazy. Don't be afraid to erase.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. Gotta do it.
Yeah, and
Except
then,
when it's not working out, yeah.
yeah, and so that's always, if you're doing pencil and paper, make sure your construction lines, like what Travis is doing now, are kind of light, so they're easy to erase. And then you can draw them in a little thicker. Once you're confident you found that shape that you're looking for.
Thick.
Thick.
You know, just doing some ears. I'll probably go back and fix these in a little bit. Then you erase all these like connecting lines. How's everybody's Friday going?
Yeah, don't ask some questions if you guys would like, whether it be art related, animation related,
Deeply personal.
deeply personal. We can tell you about our social security numbers,
Mhm.
or Pokemon stuff. I know Sarah and Amanda are whiz kids when it comes to that.
That's right.
So yeah, maybe some cool Pokemon questions could be thrown in there too. We're all here to hang out with you guys for today. So let's get it popping.
Oof, my computer's doing a little bit of laggy stuff, but we're just gonna work
Are
through
you
that.
chugging?
There we go. And this is Travis is using Photoshop to draw these. But Sarah, you had a couple suggestions for other programs, or I know Amanda did.
Yeah, I think that must have been Amanda. I mean, I know of Clip Studio. I've never tried it, but everybody says it's really nice.
Clip Studio, and is it a free one too, or?
I don't think Clip Studio is free. I think GIMP is free, and it kind of shows in that it's not great. But, you know, it's not like MS Paint or anything, so. Not that
Yeah.
you can't make good art in MS Paint. I mean, if you're a good artist, you can make it work with any program or any medium. But some programs have more advanced tools than others.
I feel like Clip Studio is free because I remember I used it at one point.
Yeah, maybe you had like a free trial or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe I did something else. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
We don't
Yeah.
condone that here.
Every program is free.
Wink,
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
That's right. A little bit of wink, wink, a little bit of do whatever you want, and a splash of who cares, and you got it.
Yep, and TV shows. Those are all free too. Did you know that?
No. Anyway.
Where's the one? What's
Support
your
us on
favorite?
Patreon.
What's everybody's favorite Pokemon?
Oh, man.
I feel like I
Blastoise.
couldn't pick just one. I have like a list that's my favorite though.
It's Blastoise, obviously.
That tracks for you, Trev.
I like Cyndaquil.
Cyndaquil.
He's a cute little guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like Cyndaquil.
There's
too.
so many good Pokemon. So
There really are. I think my all-time favorite would be Bulbasaur, but I also really like Mudkip and Arkin, who is like this little dinosaur bird, and he's very cute.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Gen 5.
You know, that is a tough one. I'm only familiar with like the first 150, so my options are kind of limited.
151, sir.
Oh,
You don't like
150.
Come
Jigglypuff?
on,
dude?
dude. Come on.
You know, I actually, what was the? I was like, you know, I was a wee little lad. I used to like Alakazam a bunch.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
cool.
Because he has 2 spoons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's-
yeah.
Double the ice cream.
I
Yeah.
like Drowsy a lot too. I think Drowsy is cute. He looks like a tapir.
Every time I like did a run through, I would always grab like Abra as soon as possible and try to get him up there.
Yeah, those like random yellow psychic types are fun.
Yeah.
I just think of them all as the same.
Anyway, I don't have a comic book font anymore, unfortunately.
This is a question I don't know if he's just toying with us. If evolution was a gradial shift instead of a flash, what Pokemon would look the most interesting in its in-between?
Oh, Remoraid and Octillery. So Remoraid is a fish who is meant to look like a gun. Like his fins look like the gun things. I don't know gun terminology. And then he evolves into an octopus that looks like a tank. So he's got the like, I'm a sea creature and I'm a weapon. But it's just not super clear, like when you're going from a little fish to a big octopus, like how that occurs. And I think a lot of people miss like why he's like that. It's because of the weapon thing. It's because he goes from a gun to a tank.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's like-
the in-between stage of that would be crazy because he's a fish and then he's an octopus.
Awesome.
So,
I
yeah,
got to
this
look this one up too. But go ahead, Travis.
No, I was gonna say I'm all finito.
Oh,
Amanda, turn off your microphone.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'll
You
turn
gotta-
mine off.
Wait, it's not working anymore.
Well, now you're muted, Amanda. All right. Well, there you go. There's the lessons for Emolga, the first Pokemon on our drawathon. If you guys tag us on Twitter, we will retweet them so we can show the world your beautiful creation. Because I'm sure it looks just as good as Travis's. And we'll flip on over to who wants to go next. All right, Sarah. Cool.
Okay, I can go next.
All right. First, we'll see Sarah's Emolga.
Here's my Emolga.
Ooh, and look at she's got some.
Cute.
And I've got some references here.
References. Tell us what references do for your art.
Everything. Anyone who tells you don't use references is a fool and a liar. You should be using references all the time. It helps you improve your art and understand what you're looking at versus just copying what you're looking at.
Correct.
So that's why I've assembled this little barrage of images. A 2D Eevee here from its key art. This 3D model of Eevee I found that I think would be helpful in if you were going to do any sort of shading. This sort of reference is good for that. And then a couple of Eevees in different poses so you can see how its body moves. And then here are some pictures of fennec foxes, which I think are sort of close to what Eevee would be looking like if they were real. And it's not super important when you're first beginning to like understand how every single muscle moves and how every single bone is structured in the skeleton, but it is good to have sort of an idea of how anatomy works when you're doing a drawing, even if it's something very simple like Eevee. Just to be able to say like the skull is sort of here, the rib cage is here, the spine goes like this, the hips are here, and the legs bend like this. You know what I mean? And you can see here, even in the Eevee, like this very simplified, you still have this sort of shape that's referencing how real animals move and work. So that's just not really something to follow along with, but something to think about if you're really serious about getting into art is learning how to observe and simplify things from real life, because that's kind of what art is all about. And anyway, to get to the drawing part, I usually start out with a sketch. So like a circle for the head, and I often use this sort of cross technique that you might have seen in other art tutorials to sort of say which direction my character's facing. And I would put like Eevee's little nose. She has like a short nose, like that. And maybe if she's tilted this way, the eyes would be like here, here, something like that. The ears are like this shape.
Hey, I got a good one for the chat. What's your favorite evolution? Because there's so many.
There are so many of those.
Also, Sarah, you are destined to be an art professor someday.
You think?
Yeah, I feel terrible about my approach. Thank you.
That was
No,
so
yours
well
was great.
said.
I think it's really great to be able to just say, follow along with me. Here's how I do it.
Awesome. So Nick Hamlin says, when you guys were starting out, were you drawing the shapes and erasing before you got confident to just go with it? I think he means like the construction shapes.
Oh, I still do that. It's just that I feel like a lot of pressure to just go for it when I'm live. So,
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now, but I'm trying to be careful about it so that I'm being true to how I would actually draw. But if you're following along, you can feel free to make your own changes to the pose that I'm doing here. I'm just sort of going at it as we go, figuring out what I want to do.
Got a couple. We got Charm.
Maybe we'll have the paws up
Melon?
like this. And you can see I'm sort of following the structure of having the arms in this way, the way that the little reference goes.
Eevee.
What was the question? Our favorite evolutions? I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said Umbreon. Somebody said Charmeleon.
Yeah, Umbreon is really good. I think specifically the shiny Umbreon is really good with the blue.
Ooh, I've never seen the blue one.
Yeah, it's the yellow rings are blue and it looks really cool.
That's dope.
I like
Yeah.
the little lightning one.
Jolteon.
Jolteon.
Yeah, that one is really cute.
He looks like
My
he just
favorite is
got
Espeon.
Espeon. Is that the little
Yeah.
naked cat one?
It's the purple pink cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
he kind of
It's
looks
strong.
like what's Meowth, the Persia one? Evolution of Meowth. It's like Persia.
That's
Yeah.
Persian.
Persian, yeah. That one is cute.
They're different colors, James. They don't.
I
look
mean,
alike.
they got the jewel on the head. It's pretty close.
Okay. Yeah,
It's a
maybe
coin.
not.
They drop coins.
What's the lore behind that? Why do they have the same?
They have a
jewel
move
on
called Payday, and it's like you attack somebody, but then you make them drop money.
Oh,
Espeon is like a third eye thing because it's like a psychic. So it's
got it.
How are we doing on time? Do I have time to like
Yeah,
do line
take your
art and
time.
stuff?
You're doing perfect. Take your time.
Cool. So that's how I would normally just sort of block out a sketch, just sort of feeling out a pose and keeping it really loose. Just having guidelines for where I want everything to be. And then I'll start inking.
Word.
And this is just going to be sort of a quick ink, not really going too hard on it, but just for time.
I wish I did a pose now that I'm watching this because I like-
Honestly, with how quick we're going, we can probably do multiple rounds.
Yeah.
If you want
we
to go again and get some nice posing. Because Emolga's got those little hand wings that
yeah,
would be fun to pose. I don't
cute
like
little
that.
baby wings.
If you don't like it, just delete it. That's my official art tips.
Every mistake is a learning opportunity.
That's right.
And another thing, so I'm just coming across this right now. Another thing that I've learned, which is kind of a more advanced artistic thing, is tangents. Like I just noticed just here that I kind of made a tangent where you want everything to have a very clear silhouette. So when things overlap very close to each other, like the way I had this here, it doesn't read as well. So I'm actually gonna go in and fix that.
We got a. Are you using a different layer for inking, Sarah?
Yes, I am. I don't know. Can you see my layers here? I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I have this sketch layer and this inking layer, so I can turn them on and off and adjust, make this less or more how I need. I don't know what the equivalent to this would be on paper. I guess you could use pencil for the. I would usually use pencil for the sketch and then like a pen for the inking. But
Yeah, I've seen. I know a lot of Disney illustrators will use like an actual blue pencil,
Or a red
their-
pencil. That's what I did in college.
and then
You
they'll
just
go
scan
over
it.
it with and then they'll go over it with ink. There's like a
Photoshop,
reason.
you can get rid of it.
Yeah. I think that's why. It's because it's easier to isolate the color and get rid of it. So then, you can go over with black ink on top if you guys want to do something similar like this on paper.
Yeah, and you can be like super scribbly with the blue pencil because it's going to be invisible. So you can just like be super rough and like mess up, you know?
Yeah, and there's plenty of great art, like actual like artist meant markers. But honestly, like a good fountain pen, it can go a long way as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true.
it's hard to find a good pen, but when you do, you got to hold on to it.
Yeah. There's this guy on Instagram. I haven't seen his account for a while, but his whole thing is he just does everything with a big pen, and it's supposed to prove that it's not the supplies that make the artist. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew a kid that would just use a pen, and he would do like insane, realistic portraits with cross hatching, and he would just go nuts. It was beautiful.
Big pens are actually really nice to use because you can get like different levels of pressure on them, so you
Yep.
can draw
Yeah,
really lightly.
have a
and you can
thick
draw really
ink
dark
stroke.
with it.
It's really nice.
And it's also like 50 cents a pen, so it's like, why not?
Yeah, and they say like the sweet spot is like when they're running out of ink, and so it gets even more like lighter with the stroke. So he'll like keep one on the side for those shades that he really needs,
Yeah.
like very light ink. Yeah. No, spam away, Nick. Spam away. Do you
Spam
use
us.
different brushes within your software for the different layers? Is this the same brush?
This is the same brush. This is a Kyle brush. You can see here it's called Kyle Ultimate Inking Thick and Thin. I use this for a lot of different things. I just used this for the sketch because I just had it open, but I do use it all the time for various things.
Oh, brave. I gotta know how you guys are affiliated with Dorkly, because we own Dorkly.
Yep.
Own them.
We are Dorkly.
James, don't say it like that.
No, we
Make it sound like we have people in our basement or something.
Yeah, we recently acquired Dorkly, but we've been doing their animations for the last Travis 8-something years,
Long
more than
time.
that? Long time,
Almost a decade.
almost a decade. We've been doing their animations, and so we were just like, "Heh, might as well just acquire them because we kind of do all the work anyways." No, but there was a lot more analytical and logistic reasonings behind it. But yeah, we are Dorkly, so that's why it is Dorkly powered by Lowbrow now. And so Dorkly is kind of where we do all our original content, whereas Lowbrow is kind of where we do our client work. So it's just represented in different ways. But yes, we are Dorkly.
And we're the dorkiest people you'll ever find.
Yes.
That's true.
All right, and then big fan since 2020. Thank you for being here. I hope you're following along.
Appreciate you.
Cool art in your avatar.
It's pretty rad. Makes me think of that Teenage Robot TV show.
Oh,
Remember
it
that
does.
cartoon?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that show. All right. One Sonic for Hire Part 8. It is getting made right now. I was just working on it earlier. Just a reminder, we're going to probably start releasing them on Dorkly now. So make sure you're subscribed to Dorkly if you're not, because Sonic for Hire is going to move over there because we just want to get more eyes on it. It's a great series. It's a lot of laughs, and it costs, it takes a lot of time to put into the episodes. So it will be on Dorkly now. So the next one should be out in a couple weeks, I think. A little earlier if you're a patron, because you can get early access. But yeah, the Dorkly Riders, they keep the Dorkly Riders locked up in the basement. Yep, we do.
Correct.
Any other art tips for us, Sarah?
Well, you can see what I'm doing right now is just sort of thickening up some of the lines to show where... Actually, line thickening and thinning can be used in a lot of different ways, but here I'm kind of using it to outline important shapes and then keeping smaller shapes like the fingers or the fluff as thin line art. Another good usage of line weight is to have things that are in the foreground be a thicker line weight than things in the background, but we don't have a lot of perspective in this pose I've done, so I'm not going to do that.
So you're saying it makes the drawing thick?
Yup. Some of it. And yeah, just trying to get through this relatively quickly. Should I go into how I would do coloring, or
Yeah,
moving on? Or?
yeah, I would.
Good idea.
I would. You can start it, and then we're pretty good on time. So yeah,
Okay.
you can kind of dip into it for a bit.
So there's probably a lot of different ways to do this, but the way I would do it is to make a new layer. I'll just grab this EDV color for now. Then select this, and so the problem with just selecting it and then moving to the other layer and deleting it is that you'll have a little bit of bleeding out with that brown color bleeding out of the lines. So what I'm actually going to do is make that selection using the magic wand tool or whatever equivalent, and then go to what is it? Select, expand, 3, sure. And then that will just expand the selection inward a little bit, so when you crop it off, there won't be any bleeding. And assuming you've made your line art with no gaps, that usually works. Also gonna just change this from blue.
There's going to be a test afterwards. I hope everybody's paying attention.
Yeah, you should be taking notes now. What does it take to be able to draw from imagination? You're gonna hate me for saying this, but practice. I know everybody says that, but that is truly what it is, and
Yeah.
I can give you some insight on what things to practice. A lot of the stuff that I was talking about earlier, like studying the anatomy of how different animals and people or whatever you want to be drawing works, and practicing drawing that, and just sort of drawing from life and using reference. Those are the kinds of things that will help you build up the mental library necessary to sort of churn things out yourself. If that makes any sense.
And just like have an imagination, like be able to look at something.
Just be more creative. Did
But
you
it's
think
like
of
a
that?
memory, like look at something and like remember what it is that you've seen, and
Yeah,
like, you know,
absolutely.
the proportions of everything and what's bigger than what. Like I feel like that's the first thing they teach you in like a college drawing class is that like keep looking back and forth. Like don't be looking away for too long, because when you look away, you start to like make stuff up in your head for how it looks. And you start using like symbols and things and like cheats. But like when you're actually looking back and forth, it's like you have to see exactly what it looks like. So that's like a good way to do it. Memorize.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
good tips. Good tips.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot of looking at a lot of different stuff and practicing trying to draw it and trying not to be discouraged when it doesn't go right, because 99% of the time it doesn't go right and you just have to keep trying again. It's just kind of how it is to be an artist. Most people, I would say, are of the mind of like, nothing ever comes out right the first time I do it. I always have to try again and redo things a lot. Or at least that's how it is for me anyway. But you'll get more used to it if you keep on drawing.
That hands are the bane of all artist existence. It's just
Yeah.
one of those things that you gotta practice. They don't.
Yeah,
no one's
hands are like-
naturally good at them.
Yeah, they're difficult. Again, another time that using reference is a good idea. Just look at your own hands and try to draw it, and trying to simplify the shapes into manageable shapes. Like instead of thinking of I have to draw a hand, you can be thinking I have to draw a 3D rectangle and then attach some 3D sausages to it. That's a little more manageable, and learning how the sausages bend and whatnot.
You could also go to a department store or like some kind of clothing store, find the nearest mannequin, break the hand off the mannequin, take that mannequin hand home and look at it from different angles, and hope that you don't get arrested for stealing the hand off the mannequin. And you
Yeah.
understand.
There is an app actually which is called Handy, and don't get excited, it's not that handy. No, but it is a 3D model hand that you can like rotate and move in space, and it's got like bones that you can mess with and stuff. So that's another good way. And they've got different modes. They got like a realistic hand, and they've also just got like a very plain cartoon hand. And it's just practicing that at every angle possible, because if not, all your characters are just gonna have their hands in their pockets the whole time. And we all had that
Yeah.
stage. Let's be real.
And then we also all have that stage where you're confident enough in drawing the hands, but they still look so much worse than everything else that you just wish you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would draw simple hands at first. Like if you look at my emolga, it's like literally just 3 fingers. Like that's, you know. And then there's like mitten hands, and like kawaii anime characters have like really simple hands. But if you
Yeah.
draw those hands at different angles, even though they're simple, you kind of get a better understanding of like how you would go about doing the more complex hands, you know?
All right, Nick Hamlin says, "What was your guys' experience of moving from paper to digital?" Are you waving your hand, Amanda?
I want to answer this one.
Go for it.
Okay.
I hate it. I hate drawing digitally. I love a pencil and a paper and like the texture of it. So if you're finding it difficult to like draw digitally, that's like a really normal thing. I feel like for a lot of people who start out on paper and pencil. But then you get like more used to it, and then you like realize like digitally there's a lot of tools that you can use. There's a lot of like layers and stuff. There's a lot of shortcuts, if you want to call them that. But there's a lot of potential in digital drawing. But yeah, it is a learning curve.
Yeah, I would agree. I do remember it being a learning curve, but I think I started early enough that I got used to it.
Yeah, the digital tools aren't going to make you a better artist. They're just shortcuts at the end of it all.
And I'm just gonna keep going unless anyone's gonna stop me.
Keep going, do shading, explain why you're doing
Yeah.
it the way you're doing it.
So
Ooh,
I
yeah.
drew this little sunshine here because even though it seems dumb, that kind of helps me think of like, okay, the light is coming from this way, so what parts of this would be in shadow? And this is another thing that's just sort of like, you'll eventually kind of learn innately how to do it, but it is also really nice to have reference. But I'm kind of just gonna do this from the noggin.
The noggin from imagination.
Yeah, from my imagination.
From the head brain.
Yeah.
And that's another skill set, is trying to look at things as if they are in a 3D space.
Yes, it's pretty difficult, but kind of get used to it.
And that's where reference
Like,
helps too. It kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out. If you can find something that has like a shading of something you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, this Eevee is kind of in the same lighting as my Eevee, so I can look at that a little bit.
Facts.
And I'm using this dark blue color because I find that using a dark cool color for shadows works better than just a black. If you use black, it'll oftentimes end up looking sort of muddy and dark and weird, unless that's the look you're going for, in which case you should use black.
That's what I do, actually. It's just like a very light black.
Yeah,
But
I
I
think
just think it looks more, I don't know.
It works really well for like comic book style art because they're really notorious for having those like deep black shadows. But
Yeah, if you really want to fall down the rabbit hole of art, look up color theory
oh yeah,
and try to figure that how that works.
Good luck, yeah. It's a lot.
Yes, you know what? I remember when I was a kid, I was like, someone gets paid to just color artists like comic books. I'm like, that's a job. How hard is that? Fill in the lines? No.
oh no, yeah, no, it's a lot.
Yeah. There's a guy that has he's a comic book colorist for Marvel, and he does a couple of YouTube videos. I don't think he's done anything for a while, but he explains it really good detail on how to use Photoshop to color in his process as well. If you guys ever check him out, I don't know his name, so I can't really help you out. But if you look up comic book coloring, I'm sure he'll pop up in the top ones. But you don't need that right now because you've got Sarah.
Yep, I'm the only artist
Okay.
you need. Don't listen to anyone else.
But yeah, it's drawing and coloring is a skill like any other. You know, you might have a passion for it and you might pick up some things easier, but at the end of the day, it's practice.
Then I'm gonna put some sort. Oops, is that the wrong layer? That was straight up the wrong layer. So we're gonna
Oh
look
my
at these
God.
blending modes. Oh no, I drew on the wrong layer. Hold on. No. Why?
That only happens every single time.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Where did? Oh, jeez. Let's just turn this off for a second. All right. What did I put in there? I did this.
Don't panic when you make mistakes, everybody.
Yeah, I'm totally not panicking. I'm perfectly fine. Don't worry about it.
it's a good question while she fixes that, because I think we all have little various viewpoints on AI art.
I think we're all against it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are slight benefits for us that, you know, it kind of helps weed out some bad attempts that you might do yourself. Like, for example, if you're like, oh, I need to draw a robot that is from the steampunk era, and you can kind of, I mean, it's kind of what we do anyway with looking at references, kind of like searching, and we would probably Google that, like steampunk robot, and then you're going through images and you're like, I don't like that, I like that, I don't like that. So, you know, maybe there is an argument that, you know, it kind of helps weed out all those bad ideas that you wouldn't like. Obviously, you know, we're not tracing over it or copying what we see, but it's more or less helping us be like, oh, wow, that guy has some cool goggles that the AI generated. Granted, there's a lot of ethical concerns because of the use of AI art, but at its current stage, we're against, but
Yeah, I would agree that I think where AI art can be useful is just sort of for idea generation, or not even idea generation, but like first draft level things.
Yeah.
Like just inspiration to be like, I want to make this idea a reality, but I need sort of a jumping off point. Anyway, I'm looking at these blending modes. I will often use either the multiply or the overlay. I kind of like how the overlay looks on this one, so
yeah, kind of
we'll
give it
do
like
that.
nice purplish hue to
yeah,
it.
the nice tint.
Look at that.
Wow. Beautiful.
Wow. Great job.
Magnifico.
Magnifico. All right. I hope you guys did exactly this. You follow step by step, then it should
Well,
look.
this was
exactly
less of a draw with me and more of a explaining concepts behind how to draw. But I do hope you came away with something you liked if you were drawing with me.
awesome. Like I said, if you tweet the picture, or I guess threads nowadays too, that's another option.
Nobody's on there.
We can repost it. So we can show the world your amazing art that you learned. Unless it's horrible, then we won't. I'm kidding.
You can tag us. Tag Dorkly or Lowbrow.
Yeah. We'd love to see it. If you're on Discord, go ahead and post it in the feedback area. What made you guys become artists? Probably the same reason you like to do art. The love of it.
I had an encounter with an angel around the age of 4. That told me it was of paramount importance that I go into this field, and I was like, "What is a field?" And then it just happened, you know. Nah, I don't know. I just always wanted to draw. I always like played with toys and like made up stories and stuff, and then, you know, cartoons are awesome. So
Yeah, I was the same way. I think it just never occurred to me to do anything else. I just feel like I've always been drawing.
And Amanda?
Yeah, I just really like cartoons, and then I liked drawing, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get really good. And then I'm gonna just keep doing it after that, and then I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Who we've got Amanda next, taking the mantle.
the Mickey Mantle. Haha. Sorry.
Mickey Mantle. All right. Cool. So it looks like we got Cubone.
We got Cubone. So when I first started drawing, I would usually draw Pokemon, like based off the Pokemon cards, and I would do it line by line. And then as I got better, I realized like those drawings aren't that great, and it's better to start off kind of breaking down the structure of the drawing first when you're referencing. So like, we'll take Cubone's head. It's kind of like a circle with this like thing sticking off of it. I'm gonna lower the opacity on this guy. And then his body is also kind of like another circle, and then his legs are more circles. And then you start like doing this and you realize like things are just circles. And if you can draw a circle, you can draw most things. And then his arms are little tubes. And then the bone is another tube. And the tail's a triangle, and the horn's a triangle, and then you have little feet over here, and we got this. And so now when you're looking at this, like this is way easier to approach than whatever this is.
Yeah, that was a really nice breakdown of sort of what I meant to be saying about hands. You know, sort of breaking them into smaller shapes that are easier to work with. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way to get your foundations.
That's a great way to look at the shading as well. It's easier to shade a circle than it is a leg.
So you just think of everything as circles put together and shade it based on that.
Yup. And so what I used to do is I would like print out pictures of what I wanted to learn how to draw, and then I would go over them the same exact way, but like paper and pencil, and then I would redraw everything I drew right here. So we'll do that. So there's that circle for the head, that weird circle for the body, and then these little circles over here for his legs, and that tube over here, and the other tube. And really, most of drawing is like you're doing the same thing over and over again until you get like really confident in it. And then that's the bone, and then it's gonna be like one of those things where it's like, oh, just draw a bunch of shit, and then it turns into the thing. And then we'll break it down over and over and over again. And so what I'm doing is I'm making everything into separate layers so I can like go over them and separate them, and so when I draw on this, it won't erase what's under it.
Yeah, the same thing that I was doing on my.
Yeah. So then we can start looking at the details. So then we'll start with the horn. We know where it goes because we have the sketch underneath.
Avocado.
Avocado. I have a cup. Yeah. And then yeah, we'll break it down.
Where's that mug available, Amanda? Where could people get that mug?
On our website, I think. James should know.
I've got that.
The Dorkly store, everyone.
Shop at dorkly.com. And every single merchandise sold goes to making more original shorts for you.
And if you get that mug, it has an energy that emanates from it that allows you to draw better.
True.
That's why I draw so good. It's always in my dress.
The more you drink out of it, the better you get at drawing.
They've found our secret out.
Yep.
We all just have that mug.
Yeah, we don't always mention that because kind of on the DL, the magic powers, but you guys are the real ones. You guys who are here for our art episodes, so.
Yeah, shout out to the big ones.
Thanks for being here.
I think the great thing about the method that Amanda described is that even though you're kind of doing the same thing again, the way that you do it is different, and that kind of goes to show like your own personal style. Like the way you trace the circle is different than the way you draw it, so it will come out looking like your style, even when you're copying something.
Yeah. And then also it makes everything like ingrained in your brain, and like you'll remember what
like muscle memory
like a week from now.
Yep.
And be like, oh, I could just doodle him if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's
it's a lot of muscle.
the good thing about being obsessed with like one specific character when you're young, is that like you just know how to draw them forever now.
I used to get into like drawing battles with kids. We'd like pick out a Pokemon card and see who could draw it better.
Oh, that's fun.
That was cute.
So you're definitely one of the cool kids.
I don't know if I was cool because we were drawing Pokemon, but
It's okay. I remember in 6th grade, we were making our own Pokemon cards. Like, we tried to create our own game. It basically was like a knockoff of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon.
Oh, wow. I was just partying and like being cool.
Yeah, Travis was at the club.
with his action figures.
You know, bottle full of bub, you know, every week. And then during the week as well.
So Nick says, I've started drawing a shape version, and it looks more like Magmar. So maybe I'll see that through.
Just say you did it on purpose. That's the #1 art hack, is just if something happens by accident, just pretend it was on purpose.
That's the cliche Bob Ross line, right? There's no mistakes.
Yeah,
only
happy
accidents.
accidents. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Happy
that's
accidents. So
Nick
make it a
cliche,
Magmar.
like Nick cliche.
Make it a Magmar.
Make it a Magmar, baby.
Make it a Magmar?
It's a Magmar. It's a Magmar. I don't know.
So this is cute though. We drew them, guys.
Everybody that's watching, go and get your friends and family to check this out. I only see a certain number at the top of eyeballs, and I want to see more of those. We'll draw more insanely detailed things if you get people to join. And now the number's going down. I'll be quiet.
We appreciate those of you who are here.
We do.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You know, that's why we were changed. We knew what we were doing this week. We wanted to change it up. We got a few requests to do some draw-alongs, and we wanted to kind of share it with you guys. So, you know, it's all right if not that many people are here. The people that want to learn are here. You know, that's the fun of it.
True.
It's like like the teachers used to say that, like you're not forced to come to class because then you don't want to be here, and then it's not fun for them either, right?
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
Sure.
So he's got some crazy color variations in that skull. They did a great job showing that texture.
Yeah, the art of Cubone is really nice.
And then I'm not color picking because I like to use my own colors.
No, that's cheating. We don't color pick.
I like colors.
Valid.
And then what I did is I outlined it inside of a paint bucket tool.
I actually didn't do it in mine, but almost always I'll go in and do some color adjustments after the fact.
Yeah, Command U is a
That's
game
more of
thing.
like a. That's not necessary for a sort of beginner level drawing.
Whoa!
Whoa!
That was on purpose.
Happy accident.
Happy accident.
Have any of you guys felt where you hated a drawing at first, but then grew to bear it, or maybe like it?
I feel like it's always the opposite for me. Like I'm like, wow, this came out really great, and then I look at it a week later, I'm like, what was I on?
Who drew that?
Who did that?
It's true, but I feel like look at something from an old sketchbook and I'll be like, oh, it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess that happens to me sometimes.
Yeah, I think I think that's a good point, Travis. Just revisiting old sketchbooks, and you're like,
Yeah.
like I was on to something there. I think even another fun thing is like redrawing old drawings.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
give it a couple years and then do it again, and you're just like, wow, this looks way better. And then you actually kind of noticeably see the changes in your art from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. I think also like a lot of it comes from a lot of the times when you don't like a drawing right after you've drawn it, it's just because it doesn't match what you had in your head. But then when you look at it later and you've forgotten what was in your head, you're like, oh, it actually came out good. It just wasn't what I wanted at the time.
That's so true.
Okay, and we got the gist there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good observation. I mean, you're okay. You're doing another tone in there. I was gonna say you did so much with the helmet with just 2 grays.
Yeah, and it's also the opacity, so it gets different.
So there's a bit of gradient in there too.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're adding some mid-tones. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit darker.
But yeah, and I think that's where the benefits of kind of copying another artist comes from, because you can kind of figure out almost what they did. There's a painting that like painters did this back in the day called like master paintings. And so what they would do is they'd go to the museum and they'd find like a painting they really liked, and they would basically copy it and replicate it because it helped them figure out how to, basically overcome stuff, or like say, oh, what he did with that brushstroke, that's really smart. I'm going to do that now for my art whenever I do my original pieces. So this is kind of that in a sense too. You're just like, oh, I like what they did here with this bone. Like adding this little thing made it pop, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, it's important to remember, like, art drawing is fake. It's magic. You know what I mean? Like, so everything is like an illusion. And you're just trying to figure out, like, how do I make the illusion of, like, this is a 3D thing?
And the lucky part of that is that your eye can catch if something looks wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually I completely forgot. I was going to say, in my normal process, I didn't really do this for this drawing, but normally I flip the canvas like every 5 seconds to check for mistakes. Because a lot of the times you'll draw something and it looks great, and then you flip it and you're like, oh, it's completely wrong.
Yeah, I've got...
Because your eye gets used to looking at it from the one direction and you're not looking for mistakes the other way.
Yeah, and you'll hear art teachers say like, oh, look at your art in a mirror. This is the same thing.
Yeah, or look at it from across the room and make sure the values still make sense, that kind of thing.
Squint at it, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you stick on your head sometimes, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, or take a break and come back. But yeah, there's a lot of, that's the thing. That's the beauty of the eye. It knows if something doesn't look right. So, take a break, flip the canvas, look at it in the mirror.
Get yourself a root beer soda.
Get yourself a root beer soda. We should eventually be selling Sonequa stuff. I don't know if there's any on the Dorkly store now.
There should.
It's her destroying the city, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still on there. I gotta go double check. There's been some changes to the merchandise store, so that I was not in charge of.
Whoa. Tossing some shade, Jim?
Yeah, I am. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't care. No, I mean, I think we're trying to keep the designs a little bit more limited, but you know, I mean, there might be a reason for Sonequa to pop up in the store soon.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
I'll leave it at that. What are you doing now?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just going ham on the rendering now. I'm adding highlights and shadows onto this bone. So we're imagining the lights coming. Oh, I haven't locked it. Imagining the lights coming from this direction. So that's why all this is lighter than this side. So I'm gonna add like super strong highlights.
So Nick says, when you were learning, did you have to fight the temptation to scrap drawings partway through if you weren't right, or is it better to start over and over? Honestly, I think if you find that you're struggling on one part of the, say you're drawing something like Cubone and you're struggling on the head, just draw that head over and over again instead of starting the whole drawing over. You want to fine the tune the areas that you're struggling in rather than waste time on something that you're succeeding in already. Anybody else?
I actually kind of have an opposite perspective on that. I was going to say if you're really struggling with one part, well, I guess it depends on if your goal is to finish the drawing or to get better. Because if you really want to get better, you do have to grind those things you don't like to draw. And it might even be useful to like just dedicate an entire page of your sketchbook just to failing at drawing that one thing. However, if you are just frustrated because you can't finish a drawing because you're just stuck on one piece, then just move on to the next piece. I guess it depends on the context.
Yeah, what you're trying to do.
I think one tip I heard too was that, you know, if you're sketching in a sketchbook, try to have one that is just for you that no one in the world will ever see.
Oh, 100%.
So you can make mistakes without feeling self-conscious, and then have another one that's all your good stuff. So when you want to show off to your friends, you go, "Hey, this is my sketchbook," and it looks
really good.
Yeah, stuff on TikTok where people are like, "This is my sketchbook," and they open it and it's like 5 fully rendered pieces. That's not real. That's not real.
Yeah,
That's fake.
Anyone who's trying to get into Cal Arts, those sketchbooks are fake sketchbooks. Those are like.
Yeah, those are not indicative of the average person's process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a sketchbook. It's meant to be messy and have weird stuff in there.
Awesome. Cool. Travis, you got one more for us, or
yeah, I'm gonna draw Ditto.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna mute you, Amanda, just for a second so we don't get the echo. All right. You can raise your hand when you want to speak. All right, we're gonna get Ditto, everybody's favorite pink blob. All right, you're done.
Yep. All right, we just got a face on here, and we are good to yeah.
Look at that. No reason to fail at Ditto.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Absolutely fantastic.
So I feel like everybody can leave here today drawing a Ditto.
Yes, yes. Is there any other overly simplistic Pokemon? I feel like the new generations might have some.
Oh yeah, Voltorb is kind of easy.
Oh, Voltorb. Why don't you give us a Voltorb too?
Or any sort of Jigglypuff situation.
All right, let's.
Who's Shuckle? Do we have a Shuckle? Is Shuckle a
He's
hard
like a
one?
little shell with noodle arms thing.
Shuckle.
He's
Oh, he is pretty cute. Yeah. I've seen him in the Dorkly bits. Snorlax is cute too. He used to give me so much anxiety.
Snorlax?
Yeah, with the blocking the road.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's got some eyebrow ridges. I didn't realize that.
That's it.
There it is. He's basically a Pokemon or a Pokeball, but flipped down, right?
Yeah.
Is that part of the lore? Is he like basically a Pokeball?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the lore is like they hide on the ground, and you are like, "Oh my god, a free Pokeball!" And you go over, and it's like, "Rawr, I'm a thing. I'm not a Pokeball."
Yeah, fight me
Now
to the
if-
death. Rawr.
If you cut him open, is he flesh or is he like machine?
I wouldn't know because I don't cut my Pokemon open. But
What was that?
great question.
It's almost like the is it cake type of thing. You know, you cut it open.
Okay.
I feel like it would be kind of almost like a mushroomy texture, like not really flesh, but like thick organic
Oh.
material, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
He's not a plant type though.
Awesome.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cool. Well, I think this was a blast. Oh, look at Sarah's already got a Shuckles going.
Nice.
Shuckle.
Oh, shucks.
Ah, shucks.
I got you.
Aw, shuckles.
Awesome. Well, it has been a blast. I hope you guys learned a lot from our artist. Feel free during our other streams to ask questions. We're always willing to answer art stuff. Hey, if you hop on the Discord, there's always people hanging around. Mike pops in every once in a while. So if you have art questions, animation questions, or even just questions about Dorkly and Lowbrow, they will get answered there. Because I saw a lot in the channel. So if you really want your questions answered, Discord's the place to go. But other than that, I don't know what we're doing next week. We're going to have to figure that out. But this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys learned something. And have a good weekend.
Goodbye, everyone. Have an excellent weekend.
Goodbye, everyone.